Well, hello there. Today will be the second video in a summer series of installments that are likely to tank the flow of my YouTube page because these are the videos that people like to watch the least. Why do people like to watch these videos the least? Because they actually give betting advice to win, and that's exactly what people don't like to do. But this is another one of the Patreon subscriber requests. The first one we did was money management. Now this one, and I guess I could say I'm excited to do this one because it encompasses some of the main bets that were made on this channel in the last year. Hedging.
I hedge.
Because one thing I've learned about people throughout the previous few years is they are like Veruca Salt. They want it now. Anything to help somebody in the long run, they're not going to do. It's classic Gen Z TikTok generation. Give me a 15-second video. I want to be a millionaire. Don't want to put in any time. Don't want to put in any effort. Well, this video is going to teach you some things about hedging. Now, I'm going to roll a bunch of stuff I'm going to roll arbitrage and middle betting and hedging all into one, because this is something where if you don't utilize it, you don't take advantage of it, you're the idiot who points at me thinking you lost money on the Washington Capitals bet. So I'm going to get to re-enjoy the disgrace of some of those people. But the first place that I'm going to start is the thing that you have to ask yourself when you're placing any bet, especially for larger wagers. And that is greed versus guaranteed. You got to ask yourself, who am I? What kind of guy am I? And I know who you really are. I know, like in Spider-Man, William Dafoe, coward. You're looking at yourself and you're just,
You make me sick.
you need to parlay. You know who you truly are. I know that's you. Greed versus guaranteed. Are you a type of guy who just presses a bet and then you check 4 months later to see if it won? Or are you somebody who's going to nurture that baby penguin across those shallow waters, help the penguin, and guarantee it makes it to adulthood? No, you're a father who abandons your family. That's who you are. Any non-hedgers are deadbeat dads who don't see their children into adulthood.
I'm a bad father.
They don't pay for college. They owe tons of money. They take a job off the books just so the government can't siphon any money from their legal paychecks. That's who you are if you aren't hedging your bets.
I'm a bad father.
Greed versus guaranteed. Now let me start with a current example of this, something that we gave out earlier this summer on the Patreon. We found it. That guy, Jewish McCaffrey online, tipped me to it on Twitter. Thank God I saw his page, but we saw that Draftkings mistakenly put out a line on TJ Hockensen of 775 yards season long when this guy is likely to start the year on PUP. So let's just say you got to bet in $1,200 to win 1,000 because it was minus 120. So you got that bet in. We're feeling great about that, thinking he's going to start the season on PUP. But if you want, and you don't want to sweat it all, and you want to guarantee yourself winnings, look what you can do. TJ Hockensen currently, since they made that mistake, they have his milestone yardage, 750 yards, which is clearly under the 775.5 that the original bet was listed under. They have that at plus 200. So you have one bet for minus 120, and now you have TJ Hockensen going over 750 yards for plus 200. It's impossible to lose, because if you put the 700 on Hockensen at plus 200 to go over 750 yards, that's obviously going to make 1,400. Your original investment on the bet was 1,200. So you have a free $200. So you're winning $200 to $400 guaranteed. No sweat. It's impossible to lose. You can write that I won the Hockensen bet. And similarly, assholes, and I just have to keep saying that because that's how stupid the Capitals bettors were. The Washington Capitals to miss the playoffs were plus 115. I said put 1,000. I put 1,000 on that. So 1,000 to win 1,150. And then I even said in that video, I said, I hope they win so I can get even better odds and put another 1,000. Well, that's what happened. Then they went to plus 170 to miss the playoffs, put another 1,000 on it. So that was another 1,000 to win another $1,700. So you have $2,000 to win $2,850. $2,000 to win $2,850. They went on to lose like 8 of their next 9 games, and then them to miss the playoffs was over plus 400. And you're now guaranteed to win money both ways. And that's the simple way of doing it. If you remember back to that bet, originally, all you had to do was parlay the Washington Capitals in the last 2 games. One against the Bruins, one against the Flyers, back-to-back nights. On BetMGM, I showed that if you just went, because they were always going to be underdogs. So if you just went Capitals, that was over plus 400, and that was an easy way. There were endless opportunities to guarantee yourself money. The minute they lost that 9 out of 10, which put them at those disgraceful odds, you won your bet.
You won!
The last episode, Greg was saying people out themselves. The dumb bettors out themselves when they post those tickets. The dumbest bettors ever out themselves when they comment things like, you lost on that so-and-so. No, that side of the bet ended up losing after it already was a guaranteed winner. That's always the best way to do it, which is why one of my little tips that I have, don't ever take those idiotic cash outs. The cash outs from the sportsbook, it's like if you went on Deal or No Deal and they always gave you a shiesty deal. You want to know what a better deal is? Using another sportsbook to bet the other side of that bet. I have no clue why people are cashing out. That's not ever the best deal. Do you want to know what you should do? You should see what you need and then check the best odds on the other side of that bet. If you shop the prices, it's always going to be better than the garbage cash out that they're praying you take on there. So never take those cash outs unless you're in an absolute bind. And that will bring me to the next point. Live bets are a hedger's absolute best friend. They allow you to not only hedge, but they allow you to hit the middle multiple times. One of my pieces of advice, because I know the majority of you guys are parlay pirates, so I even do have pirate advice when it comes to hedging. Always make sure the last leg of your parlay is a heavy favorite. So even if you have crazy types of things in there, make sure the final leg, and make sure that final leg is like the only event that's going to be on. Like a great example would be Sunday Night Football. You got 4 picks because Caesars is offering a 4-leg boost. If you do a 4-leg parlay, they're going to offer you a 50% boost. So you hit your first 3 legs. Make sure your 4th leg is during the night game and is a heavy favorite. Why? Because your hedge of the entire parlay is going to be a heavy plus money. And you'll guarantee. So let's say you have 100 to win 1,000. That's your 4-leg parlay boosted. Maybe it was, to win like 650, and now the boost brought it to 1,000. So now you have that extra to work with. What I always do in that scenario, if I do one of those 4-leggers, I make sure the final leg of that parlay is a heavy minus and by itself going on last, and I take the boost amount, if you have that, and bet the opposite side of that minus play. Let's say I have a minus 250 as my final leg. Well, obviously, the opposite of whatever that bet is going to be like plus 180. So I'm going to take the boosted amount, let's say it was 300, and put it on the plus money final leg of that parlay and guarantee myself a big payout, because there ain't nothing worse than losing the final leg. So don't take the cash outs. Always use live bets when you can, because that will allow you to even hit middles. You guys remember that one? I think it was a Thanksgiving. Gave a pick from each game, and the final leg was a Deebo Samuel. All to over, and he had 50 in the first half. So his live total was like 82 or something like that. We took the under. I remember I went online, went on Twitter, I went everywhere, and I just said, if you have that 4-game parlay from the video, you have an opportunity to live hedge Hebo, guarantee yourself a big net profit. Well, not only did we hit that, but because you live bet it, you had that little sandwich in the middle where you could hit them both. The middle, which I'm going to include here with hedging, and we hit the parlay and we hit the hedge. And that's a perfect way to segue into the Connor McDavid bet, the bet of the century. The one that probably, if each year is defined by something, obviously 22 was the incredible lightning run, the Vasilevsky Game 7 unders. 2024 guaranteed was the Connor McDavid middle from the first time since 2003. Hey, I'll pat myself on the back till the end of time for this one, even though that was never the plan. But see, that's one of the benefits of doing something like this. I correctly identified that there was no way that the Edmonton Oilers could win without Connor McDavid winning the Conn Smythe. He was at plus 250. The Panthers to win the series were minus 120. If you played that out, and I posted the exact numbers, you guarantee yourself, $300 to $500 per every few thousand spent. I understand nobody has just to do it. Well, then just remove zeros from what I said and remove zeros from what you won, but it's still guaranteed winning regardless. So not only can you call that arbitrage, sneaky arbitrage, because you would have had to know how hockey works, and then McDavid would have won the Conn Smythe guaranteed, so some guy who watches baseball wouldn't have really known that. But we also hit the middle, which, those are two great examples of why if you disregard hedging, you're disregarding winning in many circumstances. The original bettor with the Washington Capitals thing, he just watched himself rot, and then he cursed in my comments, and despite the fact anybody with half of it, we were all celebrating the wins. Do you want that to be you? Well, start hedging when the opportunity presents itself.
Hedging? That's new.
Just one last thing. This is something my friend if you're a pirate, I try to give the pirate advice. One was, if you're a big parlayer, make sure the last leg of your parlay is an event going on by itself and is a high minus play. The second one would be, if you're a parlay pirate, I know your sportsbooks are giving you a bunch of boosts. Use boosts across sportsbooks to guarantee yourself wins. For example, there's a bet minus 150 on the New York Mets or something, and you have a boost that takes that to even money. So you bet them even on that site, then you odds shop the best price for the money line on the underdog, and you guarantee yourself winnings that way. So use boosts against each other. I probably missed a few things along the way, but as I've told you many times, these type of videos are not my forte, but I told you I would do them, and I would continue to get to your requests during the summer, which I will continue to do. I know just off the top of my head, there was the Scam 5 request. I have no problem doing that before the NHL season starts. My Scam 5 video, where I'm going to announce who are my 2024-2025 members of the NHL Scam 5 for the upcoming year. And then there were a few others that I'm going to do as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These videos really do tank my YouTube unless people like and comment and all that stuff. The first one wasn't a hit. So if you guys can help me out, it would be very much appreciated. You guys know what helps out the most. Patreon.com/Francess. Still working on my studio here. Should be ready before the season starts. It's not going to be crazy upgraded, but I made it bigger, reshuffled some things, got some new purchases. Looking forward to the upcoming year with all of you fine folks. Take it easy. I will see you for the next video in this series. And make sure that over the course of this next year or so, anytime somebody does something or says something idiotic, just tag them in this video. Tag them in this video. Maybe to this part right here. Did you lose because you didn't hedge? You're a donkey. I'll see you guys for the next one.